Okay, we are back and ready to get started. So once again, I'd like to welcome all of you to this afternoon's webinar. And I'd like to do just a quick audio test as usual. Just let me know on the upper right-hand corner, the upper right-hand box there, the little chat box. Let me know if that audio is coming through loud and clear for you. I just want to make sure I'm not talking to myself here. So just give me a yay or a nay in that box. Okay, getting yes, yes, yes. Audio's good. Audio's good. Loud and clear. Okay, Bill, Mario, Winslow, Tom, Mike, Paula, thank you. Janine, thank you. Jenny, thank you. All right, so let's get rolling here. Now, guys, just a quick heads up: if you have recently been through our freemortgagewebsite.com webinar or that particular process, then this is going to be a repeat for you. However, you're welcome to listen in again if you want to kind of go through the process again. But basically, what we're going to talk about, folks, is the strategy used to uncover large amounts of borrowers in a very short period of time. So let me hear from you guys. How many of you guys here are interested or could use more borrowers, more leads? How many of you guys could use more leads versus is there anybody on the webinar today that literally you have every single lead you could possibly hope for? Is there anybody with us? Okay, I'm getting some, of course, some yes, big yes, a yes with 5 exclamation points. Okay, funny. All right, so everybody's we're on the same page then. We're looking at making or generating more leads. Now, secondarily, I'm going to be going live to the web here in about the next 15 minutes and show you guys the process for identifying the volume of individuals that are searching for either mortgage loans or possibly looking at buying a home or doing a refinance, within about a 50-mile radius of where you're located. So if you could also type in the chat box there what city and state you're in that you would like me to search. Now we have limited time, so I can't search everybody. So I'm going to take the average it out over what the top 3 to 5 cities are. So just type in the box there what city you're in, and then we'll pull those numbers up live in those cities. Okay. So I'll do my best to get to as many of you as possible. Okay, so we have Irving, California, Atlanta, Georgia, Houston, Texas, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Los Angeles, Salt Lake City, Raleigh, North Carolina, Toronto, Canada, Fort Myers, Florida. Okay, perfect. Keep them coming, guys. I'm going to get started on the presentation, and then in about 15 minutes, we're going to go live to the web and see what kind of numbers we can pull up. Okay, fair enough? All right, let's get started. The page is unpaused. We're ready to go. So inbound mortgage marketing. How do you find mobs of borrowers using this unmatched inbound marketing strategy? We could do things the easy way or the hard way. So the first thing that I'd like to do is introduce the concept of inbound marketing. Typically, when we hear the terminology inbound marketing, what pops in our mind is leads that are coming to us, as it should be, versus traditional marketing strategies, what we call outbound marketing or interruption-based marketing, where we're going to the people and we're interrupting their days and just hoping that they'll hear us out and listen to what we have to say. Cold calling would be an example of outbound marketing. So inbound marketing works best on the web because it's a leveraged medium. So let's take a look at when we talk about the internet, just what sort of potential are we talking about here? Well, I pulled up some statistics that were live as of Thursday of last week. These were the real world numbers. These numbers are actually even higher today. But as of Thursday of last week, according to the official statistics, there's 2.5 billion active internet users every single day. Check out this number here. 178 billion emails sent every day. Now, if you guys have ever looked up the statistics, what is the most common activity the internet's used for? Even today is email, the sending and receiving of email, communicating with our friends. 178 billion emails sent every single day. And last week, Thursday, I pulled up the statistics. It's a live counter. You can go on the web and actually see the statistics. 1.7 billion billion Google searches by 9 o'clock a.m. It was 9:03 a.m. in the morning when I pulled up the live counter to see how many searches had been performed on Google just that morning. That does not include Yahoo, Bing, and all the other websites and search engines on the web. That was just Google by itself. Guys, we're living in a society where there are more mobile phones owned than toothbrushes. More people actually own mobile phones than they do toothbrushes. That's kind of scary. And the number is 4.1 billion people own toothbrushes in the in the world today versus 4.3 billion that own mobile phones. That's kind of scary to me, but hey, it is what it is. 26% of consumers have stated that they are influenced by blogs as to the services and products that they purchase. That's more than 1 in 4 consumers that are consulting and being, allowing their choices and their buying decisions to be influenced by blogs. Inbound marketing, the average inbound marketing campaign earns, 61% more. I had that, costs 61% less than outbound. Thought I had my statistics flipped there. Costs 61% less to earn a customer with inbound marketing than it does with outbound marketing. And then finally, every month on the web, we collectively spend the equivalent of 4 million years online. So I bring this up just because the old adage that, you got to go where the customers are, right? Where are the people going? Where are they making their decisions? What mediums are they consulting to influence those decisions? So let's make this more appropriate to home buyers and mortgage loans. 91% of home buyers in 2012 started their search online. Now you match this up with the National Association of Realtors. If you match this up with their official study at the end of each year for 2012, what did they say about the average home buyer, how they make their decisions, or what realtors they use? Well, they stated that more than half of all individuals use the very first realtor that they actively speak with and communicate with. Over half. So they're going with the very first realtor that they chat with. So if 91% of them are starting online and then they're deciding to work with the very first person they talk to, wouldn't it behoove you, whether you're a realtor or a loan officer, because, hey, they're going to need a loan most likely, regardless of, which service you're offering. They're going to need a loan. They're going to need financing of that home when they find it. Wouldn't it behoove you to be that very first person that they talk to? 97% of consumers in the U.S. state that they use the web in one way, shape, or form to research products and services before they buy. And then 42% of all sales online begin with a search engine such as Google. And then finally, businesses with a well-developed website grow 41% faster. 41% faster than those without. So this is all coming together to tell us something, but then it leads to the logical question where we can get very frustrated. Well, that all sounds good, Chad, and that makes sense, but the big question is, this is all meaningless to me if I don't know how to take action. How do I take action? How do I make something out of all these statistics? And that's what we're going to be showing here in just a moment. But first, I want you guys to ask yourself a question about the way you're marketing now, because this will influence the way you market going forward. Is number one, the way you're marketing now, how much time out of your daily schedule or even your weekly schedule or monthly schedule does it take to implement that marketing? And we ask that because that determines how duplicatable your strategy is now, because there's a guaranteed way to make more money in the mortgage industry, any form of sales, right? And that is to just double the amount of work and double the amount of money you're spending. So if you're spending $2,000 a month on leads now, then what happens if you spend $4,000 a month on leads? Or if you're spending 20 hours cold calling a week now, what happens if you double that to 40 hours? You're going to make more money, most likely, right? Almost guaranteed. But the question is that a duplicatable strategy? Can you realistically handle 40 hours a week of cold calling or popping another $2,000 a month into buying leads or whatever it is you're doing now? Is it duplicatable? And what happens in your current strategy when you get busy? Because that's what I find, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but most loan officers tell me is they get so busy, they can generate leads, but, then you get busy and you got to do something with those leads, right? You got to get them into your funnel, into your pipeline. You got to get the 1003s. You got to start getting them closed. And when you get busy, is your marketing still staying busy as well and bringing in leads? Or do you have these peaks and valleys in your income? So how do you double your income? Are you doing it the easy way or the hard way? And we're about to go live to the web here in about 3 minutes, folks. Ultimately, guys, every aspect of your life is impacted and touched by what we're talking about here, because it sounds great to talk about leads, but sometimes we don't realize just how important it is that literally everything we do, the number of hours that we work is directly hinged to how effective our marketing is. The cars that we drive, the homes that we live in, the vacations that we take, the food that we eat, what can we afford? All of this, our entire lifestyle is touched by how effective either we are or are not with our marketing. Okay, so fair enough. Everybody agree with this statement? So knowing that this is so darn important, then we need to go to the web and figure out, well, how do I take advantage of this inbound marketing so that way leads are coming to me instead of me always having to go and find them? Because the beautiful thing about the web, guys, is it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I one time actually I was curious what time of day most of my sales were coming in, and this really, really, really threw me for a loop. I had no clue, guys. The number one time of each day, most common time period of each day where my leads were coming in was actually after midnight. I'm asleep in bed, and it was somewhere around 12:38 to 12:41 midnight that my leads were coming in. I had no clue prior to actually looking up the statistics to see the time date stamps on all my leads coming in through my email system, and it just threw me for a loop. I didn't expect that, but it just made me smile, going, hey, I'm dreaming, sleeping, and that's when my leads are coming in. So let's take a look, guys. We're going live to the web here, but first let's talk about what terms people are looking for online. Now, here, what we're talking about is keywords, okay? Because the way inbound marketing works is we have to identify what do people care about. Borrowers, future borrowers, people that need to refinance or do debt consolidation, what are they going to the internet? What are they likely to type in to the search engines? Well, here's the obvious one, mortgage. Okay, that one requires no brain power to figure that one out. But now let's look at how many variations of that term can we come up with. Mortgage, well, what about mortgage loans? Well, what's another word for mortgage or mortgage loans? How about home loans? How about just the word loans? How about loan officer? How about mortgage loan officer? Refinance, debt consolidation, reducing debt, realtors, real estate agents, homes for sale. See, we have to start thinking a little more creatively and laterally than just looking at loans and loan officers, because these individuals are just as likely to be shopping for their home before they even think about talking to a loan officer. A lot of these guys do the whole ready, fire, aim thing, right? They do it backwards. They go out and shop for the home, and then they only start talking to the loan officers once they picked out their home. But even though that's the wrong way to do it, we know that they don't. We have to understand what their buying habits are and shopping habits are, and incorporate it into our marketing. So I just have 10 variations, but if we really wanted to get creative, and I'm sure you guys could recommend variations as well, we could probably fill this page up with about 25 or 30 other terminologies or phrases or keywords that people are likely to be searching for. But now it's time for us to actually go live to the web, and let's see what Google tells us people are searching for online. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Google right now. Here we are. I'm going to type out Google keyword tool. Oops, there we go. All right, so Google keyword tool, and I see this link right up here at the top is the one I'm going to click on. All right, so guys, give me just a moment. I'm going to pop open this little chat box here and take a look at some of the cities. Take a look at some of the cities. All right, okay, so I had Portland, Oregon. Okay, I got several for Portland. Houston, Texas. Okay, I got about 3 of them for that. Houston, Texas, Portland, Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, let's start with Portland. Okay, so I'm just typing out the variations. Just bear with me here. So this is how we do this, guys, is when you come to the Google keyword tool, you type out what you're searching for, you hit the enter button, and then it brings you down to the line beneath it where you could just keep typing it out and keep typing it out, okay? Okay, now, so that's Portland. Now let's do Houston. Houston mortgage, Houston homes, Houston homes for sale. See, the key is you got to get very specific. Houston loan officer, Houston home loan, and then we'll do Houston real estate. All right, so now we're going to do Atlanta mortgage, Atlanta real estate, Atlanta loan officer. Sometimes, how about mortgage broker? There's another variation, and mortgage banker. And let's finish it up with Atlanta homes for sale. All right, so here's what I did, guys. I did Atlanta, I did Portland, and I did Houston. Let's see what we got. Let's see this captcha. I can't tell if that's I guess that's the word this. I can't tell if that's a T or not. So if I get it wrong in the captcha box here, we'll just enter another one. Let's see if we got this right. So now what I'm doing is I'm asking Google, please update and tell us the most recent numbers for monthly searches on these various keywords. So let me pull out my pen here. Okay, so starting off with Portland homes for sale. We come over here to the right-hand side. What we're looking at is the local monthly searches right here. I see 27,100 monthly searches. Portland real estate, I have 60,500. Portland loans, I have 2,900. Portland realtor, 5,400. And we just keep going down the line here. So just off of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 keywords that I entered here for Portland, what do we have here? We have 80, 87. So we're getting dangerously close to 100,000 searches a month between these keyword phrases here. Okay, so as you can see, that's just 5 variations of the keyword. If we really, really wanted to get specific, we could hammer that out about 25 plus variations of the keywords and get even higher numbers. And obviously, guys, these numbers are crazy high. That doesn't mean all these people are looking for home loans. You know that. I mean, I don't need to tell you guys that. But even a fraction of these people, that are serious to buy right now or to do a loan right now, we want to be in front of them, right? I mean, there's far, far, far more leads that can be generated by getting in front of these people than you could ever handle by yourself. Even with a small team of individuals, you'd still have trouble keeping up with just the sheer volume of leads. And for those people that aren't serious, wouldn't it be nice to start building a database right now? Start capturing those individuals and putting them in a database, because they might not be serious to buy right now or need a loan right this second, but a lot of them are dipping their toes in the water months before they get serious, right? They start thinking about it, start kind of hemming and hawing a little bit. Wouldn't it be nice to start capturing them and putting them in a database and follow up and drip feed so that when they are ready, you're the obvious choice? So now let's look at Houston here. So Houston mortgage, we have 9,900 for Houston mortgage. Houston homes, 201,000. Houston homes for sale, 49,500. Houston loan officer, we didn't get live stats on that for whatever reason. Houston home loan, we have 880 searches. In Houston real estate, 74,000. So we have some very, very big numbers here. Guys, we're over 300,000 in the city of Houston. Atlanta, we have 8,100 for Atlanta mortgage. And remember, guys, this is monthly. Atlanta real estate, 60,500. 8,100 for Atlanta realtor, 165,000 Atlanta homes, and 49.5 for Atlanta homes for sale. So there's enough leads to go around, and if we really wanted to start getting creative here, then we could scroll down and start looking at all the other variations that we didn't search for that Google's telling us, hey, you missed 27,100 people by not typing out Houston, Texas, TX, as the shortened variation here, right? Homes for sale, so that's 27,100. Houston homes for rent, well, we're not really looking for rent, but heck, we'll look, humor them and start scrolling through here and look at all these variations. Right? I could just keep going on and keep going on, and it says here that we can find even more just by clicking on the next page. So they gave us 100 variations, even though we limited ourselves to just these up here at the top. All right, so the bottom line is people are searching. And if we go to Google, what are we going to find, right? If we went to Google and let's say Houston mortgage loans, for example, okay, what are we going to find? We're going to find that generally speaking, you're going to find somewhere around 10 to 12 variations on that front page, links to click on, okay? You want to be the individual, obviously, that's up here in these top 3 that are going to get the biggest number of clicks. Over half of the individuals that search over half of the clicks generally go to the individual that's in this number one spot, depending on what industry you're in. Okay, sometimes it's down to 40%, sometimes it's up to 60%. We average it out to about half of individuals are clicking on that number one spot, but these top three spots get combined almost 80% of all clicks. Okay, so that's ideally where you're going to be, but obviously, folks, you need what? What do you need? You need something to put there. You need something that's going to attract the individual, make them want to click, and make them want to chat with you and take things to the next level. So with that being said, we could dig a lot further if we had time on these keywords and start searching for phrases like refinance and debt consolidation, reducing debt, if you're working with individuals with damaged credit or first-time home buyers. So I just want you to be creative. So write that down, folks. Write that down, that being creative, and start thinking of the different niche markets within just, hey, mortgage loan. Get specific. I know some of you guys are doing reverses. I know some of you guys are focusing on low down payment and so forth. So just get creative and start looking for those phrases. So the question is, now, regardless of how we're going to go after these individuals, regardless of how we're going to go after them, what is the one thing? I want to hear you guys say it. What is the one thing that you need to focus on this inbound marketing? What do you need? We're talking about the front page of Google. What do you need to take advantage of those key phrases? All right, let me know in that chat box. There we go. We got it. Right, a website, a platform. You got it. So here we go. We need a website. So essentially everything that we talk about doing online, it does not all need to revolve around Google. That's the mistake that some individuals make, is they think that, well, either I'm on the front page of Google or else I'm not getting anything. But guys, there's a lot more creative ways to generate traffic and get traffic and get borrowers to your website. And obviously, what we're talking about right now is SEO. But in addition to search engine optimization, you also have SEM, which stands for search engine marketing, which is a completely different form of marketing than SEO. We could be launching landing pages out there. We could be setting up media and advertisements online, buying media. We could focus on blog posting and guest blogging on popular websites and blogs. We could focus on social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, you name it. Video marketing, video SEO is another whole different world other than traditional SEO. Pay-per-click marketing, PPC, forum marketing, Craigslist, and classified ads. All of these are legitimate means of generating leads. Guys, one of the records for the Loan Officer Marketing Lab that stood for many years now is a gentleman that came from generating literally nothing, over 3 months of not closing a loan, to averaging double digits in closings, over 10 closings every single month. And he just came out of nowhere. And he did it by using Craigslist. He took our strategies and launched a website like he was supposed to, and he chose Craigslist as his primary medium because he had $0 and 0 cents to spend. He had to borrow money to learn this stuff from us. The gentleman was bringing in over 800 leads some weeks, over 800 leads. He set the record for the highest number of leads generated out of all of our Loan Officer Marketing Lab members. And now, to be fair, that's not typical results. He was dedicating almost every waking hour to doing this, but that's because he was desperate. But once he got past that desperation stage and started generating all this traffic and averaging well over 10 closings a month, he was never desperate again. He built his database, he drip fed, and he was able to cut down on the amount of hours he was spending marketing, and soon was able to leverage it. But the bottom line is it just shows you that there's lots of different ways to bring in those leads, and most of these methods can be inbound in nature. So you're not cold calling, you're not bugging people, the leads are coming to you, and that's a very, very powerful thing. So with that being said, the reason I bring this up, guys, is because one of the things that we're doing, and I'm going to bring this up live, give me just a moment. I'm going to bring it up live on the web. Give me just another second here, guys. So most of you guys are familiar with what we did starting back in 2009, right? Back in 2009, what were we doing back then? Well, we were doing what we called the Loan Officer Project. And what that means is we were giving away the free training to show you guys how to launch websites. And we had a whole lot of fun doing that. We put thousands and thousands of loan officers through that training. But the way that worked, is what were we doing? Well, we were, give me just a sec, guys. It was a 5-day training series. 5 days of training required in order to launch. And, well, that takes time. And there was a lot of technical stuff involved in that. Okay. And we listened to the feedback, even though it was a super popular program. One of the biggest challenges that individuals are running into was, well, it's taking up 5 days to learn this. And there's a certain amount of techiness involved, and some of you guys were finding that challenging to really get a good website launched and to really get things humming along. So what we did, here's what we did, guys, is we completely renovated to the point where instead of you having to go through 5 days of training and learn how to install a website, we've actually developed from scratch, just like you see on the screen right now, a pre-built website. We install it for you. We don't charge you a dime. Okay, we've replaced the loan officer project, the 5 days training, with no techiness required. The website that you see here, we programmed, we built, we included all of the specs and all of the features, and we give it to you, install it for you, configure it for you. So all you need to do is just replace our dummy text with your actual text, and you're ready to rock and roll. In fact, one of the things that I had a whole lot of fun doing was designing, you see here, guys, one of the biggest complaints we found is in the techiness of building a website is how do you get a really good looking lead capture form? The plugin that does this on WordPress can be a little bit tricky. So we actually pre-built a good looking graphic right on the home page, right where the eyes are drawn to it. And we did a side-by-side test with the sites and the designs that loan officers were building in our free 5-day training, and we compared it to this design, and the difference, the boost, the lift in leads captured was over 30% improvement by using a layout like this. And you don't even have to design anything. It's done for you guys. Pretty sweet, huh? Now, let me describe some of the features here. First off, with the new lead form that we've programmed into the website, you can decide to collect whatever information you want. Okay, so you don't have to collect these fields, but just name, email, phone number, amount needed, and then asking for additional details. If you're fine with that, then don't touch anything. It's already there. It's going to capture the leads, and it's going to email you the leads. The leads are yours. The website's yours. Okay, you never have to pay us a penny. We're not going to take your website down because it's yours. Okay. Next is we have what's called a slider right here. If you see this little box right here, this is actually an animated box. Now, I have it set to static, but what's really cool about this box is that you can decide that if you want to animate it, you can have up to a dozen animations flow through here with different calls to action. But I have mine as static because I like it that way. Next, we built call to action buttons here for individuals who have questions about mortgages. They can click here and be redirected to a frequently asked questions page. Or if they want to get an instant quote now, then they can click here and be redirected to, if you have a company website or something that you want to forward to, you can forward them directly to that site. Next, we built in icons that connect to Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. These are optional. You could turn this on or turn it off. Okay, but if you have a Facebook page, if you have a LinkedIn page or a Twitter page, then all you do is type out your profile link to those accounts and boom, instantly connects with them. 2 spots for your phone number because phone leads trump all, right? Am I right? I would prefer a phone lead, somebody that's serious enough to want to talk to me live, over an email lead any day of the week. So we set that up right here in the footer. So if they scroll down to the bottom of the page, there's your phone number. And you probably noticed if they're at the top of the page, there's your phone number again. So it's on 2 separate locations on the site for maximum conversion. Featured blog posts right here. So you can dress them up with beautiful little thumbnail images, and they click and they go directly to your blog. And then credibility, guys. Credibility trumps all as well. So I didn't type out any actual testimonials, but you can fit 3 live rotating testimonials right here on your homepage in your sidebar. So you just type out a live testimonial from somebody, from your prospects, from your clients, and it's going to animate them right here in the sidebar to grab people's attention, to make them feel comfortable that they're dealing with a legitimate loan officer, somebody that can help them. And as you can see, the page is already broken out to About Us, Mortgage Services, Contact Us, and then your actual blog page. If you don't like the color, We have 5 pre-built color schemes in the back end. You literally click a drop-down box, select your color, click save, and it automatically updates the colors for you. Okay, so really, really cool. All right, perfect. Yeah, you can use pictures for sure. I see some questions coming through. You can upload pictures. You can put any medium that you want into this sidebar. So you could put a YouTube video, you could put images, you could put whatever you like in this sidebar. In fact, we have a bunch of other options that you can activate in that sidebar that are already pre-built into your website. Okay, so pretty cool stuff, huh? All right. Let's see here. Okay. All right. Give me just a second here, folks. I see some questions coming over. All right, so I see some of you guys asking, well, how easy is it to actually change those colors? So I'm going to show you guys live. I'm logged into the back end of the admin panel. All I got to do is click over here on the left-hand sidebar, and I go to Design Settings. Watch how simple this is. I can do it in about 10 seconds. Click the drop-down, choose red, click Save, and I'm done. That's it. That's how easy this website is to function. So now if I come back to my home page and I refresh it, you can see that it's changed to red instead of blue. Very simple to use. Okay, and I already see the questions coming over. For those of you that are ready to jump on this, again, it's a free website, but let me walk you through the process here. This is the website that you want to go to right here, freemortgagewebsite.com. freemortgagewebsite.com. You put your email in. This page just walks you through and shows you the features and talks to you about, what we just talked about here. So you really don't need to read the page, but if you want to, that's fine. Just pop your email in here and click Claim Free Website. Now, here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. It's going to redirect you to another page. Okay. Just 1 second here to open that page. Once you put your email in, it's going to redirect you to this page right here. And there's a video. You don't really need to watch this video because that's for those who have not attended the webinar like we did here today. All you got to do is scroll down here and click this link. You see where the 3 red arrows are pointing? I want you to click this link because you guys got to have your hosting set up for us to install it, and you got to have a web address picked out. Now, here's where things have changed since we used to do the loan officer project. Back then, guys, and here's where you click, by the way, the $3 plan. Back then, I used to tell you guys that when you picked out a web address, you wanted to do keyword research on Google and pick out a web address that matched the keyword you wanted to rank for. That's all changed. So much has changed in the world of SEO and Google and lead generation in the past 12 to 18 months. And one of those things is Google has dropped the part of their algorithm that gave you SEO boosts for direct matching your domain. So you no longer need to do all that keyword research. Instead, pick a domain name that makes sense. Because if you click on our link here, guys, that gets you a free domain name. You see right here, you don't even have to pay for your domain name anymore. It used to cost you $15 a year. And I know it's not a lot of money, but why pay for it if you don't have to? So pick out a nice sounding domain name that's easy to remember. Try to include the word mortgages or home loans. Make it obvious that this is a website about mortgage loans. Okay, if you want to put your city name somewhere in there so that it means something to these people, by all means, but don't go out of your way to do a direct match domain name because it doesn't work for SEO anymore. So you're not going to have to pay for your domain name. You get it free. So let's just go ahead and say I'm the best loan officer. Let's say you wanted to pick that out as your domain name, thebestloanofficer.com. I'm curious if anybody's taken that domain name. Let's find out. All right, nobody took it. So then you're just going to fill this out. But let me show you something here, guys. When you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you're going to see where it says 10140. That's not the case. Deselect these features down here because they're just assuming you want all these extra services. You really don't need them. When you deselect them, you get the whole years of hosting plus your domain name for $47. There's no monthly fee. You're paid for the whole year. You own your domain name plus all of your hosting for a whole year, and all you paid was $47. Now, why do I recommend this now instead of HostGator, guys? Because, I used to tell you guys to do HostGator, but again, I told you a lot's changed with SEO. Well, one of the big things that Google makes a big deal out of now when it comes to SEO is site loading speed. All right? HostGator has become bigger and bigger and more popular, and some of their hosting has actually slowed down. We did a side-by-side comparison. SiteGround is almost double the speed with WordPress-based websites as HostGator, and they're less than half the cost. You know, with HostGator, a whole year of hosting is over 120 bucks. Here, a whole year of hosting is $47, right? And your site's going to load twice as fast. Google will actually dock you ranking points. Okay, they're actually going to possibly reduce your ranking if your site takes more than 3 seconds to load. So you need to be on a very fast server. And these sites are almost 3 times as fast on this hosting versus HostGator. So it behooves you to make the switch, and you're paid up for the whole year. The other reason, guys, is in order for us to install this many websites, and we install a lot of websites for loan officers, in order for us to install these for you for free, part of the reason we're able to do it is there's certain automation software that SiteGround has that HostGator does not offer, and that cuts our installation time in by a third, or by a third of what it was. Okay, so it's cutting it actually by 70%. That saves us a lot of time and allows us to install these for free. And as I mentioned to you guys before, we do get a referral fee when you use our link. So please use our link, because that referral fee they send us for sending customers over to them, because you got to have hosting anyways, so why not use them? That defers our costs, because we pay a lot of money to our installers and to our team to install these websites and customize them and do all that fun stuff. All right, so that fee means we don't have to charge for this, and well, gives you a free service. You own your website now. It's a professional site, professional domain name, 47 bucks for a whole year, and you don't have to pay us anything. We get paid by this company here, okay? So please use our link, or else we don't get paid, okay? So it's the link right here. Once you've done that, guys, scroll down. Please, please, when you click on this link, open it in a new tab by right-click and then open it in a new tab, because you're going to need to come back here when you're done and put your name, your email, the web address you just registered, and then the logins that you just set up, because then we're going to log in and we're going to have you installed by the end of this week. Your website will be live. Okay, so when you click complete install request, it sends it over to us. We'll have you installed. Your website will be up and running. Congratulations, you have a new website, and we're even going to train you on how to use it and even give you some really cool pointers on how to rank the front page of Google with some very, very powerful techniques. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's hard to beat. That's hard to beat. A beautiful website, effective, everything done for you, all the technical stuff already set up. All you got to do is go in and put your text in, and you got to have hosting and a domain anyway, so you might as well get it for super cheap. And again, the website is freemortgagewebsite.com. Okay, I see a bunch of questions coming over about this. Let's see. Okay. All right, how do I move beyond the YouTube video? Winslow, just scroll down to the bottom of the page. See that right here? So just scroll down, and you're going to see this link here that you want to click on, but open this in a new tab. Oh, and by the way, guys, here's a really, really big pointer. When you send us these logins, we've been very delayed on a lot of our installations because people are sending us the wrong logins. Please, please, please don't send us your email address as your username. SiteGround does not use email or allow email addresses as your username. It's going to be something else. So please double check before you send it to us, because then we got to go. There's a lot of gap back and forth and slows down your installation. So double check and make sure you're sending us the proper logins. About almost a third of our installations last week were delayed, and we had to go back and forth with people to find out what the real logins were. So please double check that. Okay. Next, I see a question. Can I redirect these to my company website? That raises a very good question, guys. I know that there are companies out there that don't want you to have your own traditional website. The way we structure this is as a blog, okay? And most of the companies that say they don't want you to have your own website, what they mean is a traditional website where you're quoting rates and asking for private information like social security numbers, and you're trying to import things directly into Point or whatever software you're using. That's not the case with these sites. We recommend that you only capture name, email, and then just, non-private information. Like, well, how much would you like to qualify for, or, how much do you need, and blah, blah, blah. We don't want you to collect their social security numbers. Number one, most people aren't going to enter it. Number two, there's liability there if your site's hacked and their identity's stolen. So why risk that when, number one, your lead generation is going to go down, and number two, you're opening yourself up to liability. So present this as, if you think your company has a problem with you having a website, well, do you mind if I have a blog? No company logo, no rate quoting on the site, no personal information captured. It's just a blog meant for lead generation. And 99.9% of the time, they're completely fine with that, if you need to get your company permission. All right. Okay, let's see. Yes, I do strongly recommend. I see you guys asking about .net versus .com. When you're registering your domain name, let's go back to that page, stick with a .com. You see that right here on this page where it automatically assumes a .com? You're just going to have better results. Now, the .com doesn't really impact SEO results, but it does impact people results. And what I mean by that is we're conditioned to assume everything's .com. You know, I do that all the time where maybe one site out of the entire week that I go to is a .net or something. I always accidentally type out .com, right? I do it. Most people do it. What happens is if the .com is already taken of the web address that you want to rank, then that means you have a competitor. And if somebody accidentally, if you tell somebody, hey, check out my website at such and such.com, and they, or .net, let's say you register the .net because the .com's already taken by a competitor, what are they going to do? Well, a certain amount of the people are going to accidentally go to .com instead of the .net. And that means you just sent them over to your competitor's website. And they might just either not know that it's a different website, or they might just go, oh, what the hell? You know, I'm just going to go ahead and fill out, you know, an application here as well. Why risk that? If it has a negative impact on your sales, why risk it? Stick with .com if the .net's taken. All right? And we just prefer it anyways. So please stick with that. Stay away from like first and last names. That's what we call vanity domains. Stay away from that because it doesn't tell people what you do. You want the web address to tell people that this is about mortgages. All right? You want it to be very obvious. All right, let's see. You mentioned, okay, great. All right, I answered that one. I'm just scrolling through the questions here, guys. Any suggestions for domain names? Oh, yeah, I have plenty. Okay, first things first is make it memorable, guys. And I'm just going to throw a couple of things out there, for example, you know, beststlouishomeloans.com, great St. Louis home loans. So put the word best, great, and so forth. Or the word my as prefixes. So my St. Louis home loans, great St. Louis home loans, best St. Louis home loans.com. You can put the word blog in there. So St. Louis mortgage blog, Atlanta mortgage blog, and so forth. Mymortgageguy.com, mymortgagegal.com. The word answers as a suffix. So St. Louis mortgage answers, AtlantaMortgageAnswers.com. The word help as a suffix. See, think about it. These words, answers and help, these sound like solutions. That's the way people think about things. Even if they don't think about it consciously, subconsciously, those words evoke emotions. Those words evoke trust and credibility because, you know, anytime you hear the word answers or solutions or things like that, best, help, you know, when you need help on something and you find a website with the word help in it, it just all comes together to motivate people to want to click. It's like, hey, you know, that's exactly what I was looking for some help, or I was just looking for some answers to some questions. So think about your domain name from that standpoint, and there's literally no limit to the number of domain names you can come up with. And again, since you're getting it for free, because I see some of you guys saying, well, I already have a domain name. Well, keep in mind, you're getting this one for free. It's not even worked into the cost. You're literally getting it free. So why not have another domain, even if you don't use it this time around? Let's say things go well and you start generating a bunch of leads, you know, in 3 months, you're going, wow, you know, I'd like to launch another one of these in another city. I know some of you guys out there have 4 or 5 websites because you do websites in multiple cities or multiple states. Well, if you're doing multiple states, you probably want to have more than one website because you want to focus on those states, right? So why not go ahead and grab another domain name? It's free for the whole year. All right. Okay, another recommendation is try to keep it shorter if possible. I know. This is where people jump all over me and say, well, you know, if I start, you know, my city name's long and, you know, the word mortgage is kind of long. You know, if I start throwing those things in there, it's going to be longer. And that's fine. Just make sure it's not too long, guys. And this is just really, you need to apply your own best judgment and common sense here. What sounds too long to you? You know, like my primary website, loanofficermarketinglab.com, it's kind of long. Free mortgage website's kind of long. It's definitely not a short domain name, you know, but at the same time, it's easy to remember. Free mortgage website. Even though it's kind of long, it's really not difficult to remember. So you know, you just kind of have to balance that. How memorable is your web address versus its length? And if it's kind of difficult to remember or doesn't really flow, then kick it to the curb and come up with something else. All right? Perfect. All right, let's see. Okay, yeah, Jim, Chad, do they charge extra if you want your URL to be private? Yeah, I think it's $12 for the year to get a private domain. And basically what he's asking about here, folks, is if you do a public web address, then technically people can look up and see who owns that website. So they're going to see your name, they're going to see whatever company address you put in there as the owner of that web address. Well, some people prefer to be private and not have that information. Not many people are going to look that up, but a couple of individuals might. Just to make sure that you're legit. So there is a capability to elect to private register your domain name or your web address, which means that information is blocked by proxy. So they cannot look you up. All right, so if you want to do that, that is an extra fee. I believe it's $12 for the year to register your domain as private. Okay, so it's entirely up to you if you want to do private web address or not. Okay, Chad, Mario wants to know, how do you redirect the leads to your website? Good question, and the way you do that, let's go back to the primary website here. Give me just a second here. Let's go back to the sample site. Okay, there's a couple ways to do that. Number one is right here, when you capture the leads through this system right here, you can tell the system that you want it to redirect or send an email to them redirecting them, or you can even make these buttons, when clicked, lead to another website or maybe a secure order form or application, I mean. So you can choose and tell the website, where do you want these buttons or links to go to? I mean, heck, you could even make these buttons, your navigation tabs up here lead to another lead form or website if you so choose. It's entirely up to you. Okay, awesome. Okay, so great question, Mario. Let's see, is there any questions? Have I missed any questions? Okay, that web address again is freemortgagewebsite.com. freemortgagewebsite.com. All right, my current website does not size right. Yes, this website does have what we call auto detection. So it does automatically resize itself based off of what size screen is being viewed on. So yeah, so it does have that resize feature, which is kind of cool. Okay, for those of you that have questions about this process, here's an email for you. All right, let me just put this up here for the web address first. Okay, freemortgagewebsite.com. All right, that email is cweber, C-W-E-B-E-R, at averagejoelo.com. Again, that's cweber at averagejoelo, short for loan officer.com. All right, so Winslow, Chad, there has to be a catch. What do I have to pay to maintain the database? You don't have to pay anything to maintain the database, Winslow. The website's yours. And no, there really, believe it or not, there is no catch. We've been doing this since 2009. So we have about 5,000 loan officers that can vouch that there is no catch. Like I said, part of what makes this possible is, as I disclosed, we do get a referral fee for using our recommend web host. And that's why I say, guys, please help me out here. Use the link that I showed you. If you don't use that link, we don't get paid. So we basically did it for nothing. That's what helps us pay our guys. But the primary reason that why we do this for free is because this is the best marketing we have ever engaged in. Yes, I own Loan Officer Marketing Lab and a series of other websites and marketing programs, and we want to be able to demonstrate to you guys the power of this type of marketing because it earns us plenty of clients. So the best marketing, in my opinion, is prove it marketing. Any marketing where you can prove your expertise and demonstrate as a means of developing trust and credibility is the best marketing you can engage in. So instead of telling you, hey, web marketing is the greatest thing in the world and SEO is the greatest thing and we know what we're talking about, isn't it so much more effective for us to come out here and say, hey, I'm going to give you a free website, and it's going to be a really great looking website, and I'm going to show you how easy it is for you to go from generating nothing online to generating your own leads very, very rapidly. It's like a little taste of what's possible. Okay, so that's why we do this. This has been the single most effective marketing I've ever engaged in, period. All right. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Jim, the name servers, you're going to change it to your own host because once you purchase your domain name, they're going to assign you your own name server and web host. So you just forward that with your URL, and then boom, you'll be set up and ready to rock and roll. If you have questions on how to do that, Jim, because I can't really demonstrate that here without logging into whatever system you're using. So obviously we can't do that publicly. So just send me an email and I'll show you how to do that. Okay. Let's see. Okay. And yeah, Jeremy, Chad, can I transfer my existing web address over? So yeah, you can transfer that over. What you'll need to do is just go ahead and get your hosting set up as we demonstrated here. You don't have to set up the new domain name with it. Just get your host set up and then send me an email once you've done that, and I'll send you a link that shows you how to point your web address over to your new host. Okay, so it's not difficult at all. I promise you. It's a very, very simple process and only takes a couple of minutes. So send me an email once you got this set up at freemortgagewebsite.com. So yeah, guys, it's definitely a straightforward process, and if you get that, here's what I'm going to tell you. If you get this over to me by this afternoon, by this evening, okay, go ahead and take action, get it all set up. I will guarantee your site will be set up by Friday. Okay, because we do have requests coming in like crazy right now because we just rolled this out new for 2013 because we shut down the old website, Loan Officer Project, back in November. So we have a huge waiting list of hundreds and hundreds of loan officers that wanted to get their free website, but we shut it down to update and actually build the new website and update the training to reflect all the changes that Google's made since middle of 2012. So you guys are going to get the latest and greatest of everything. All right, the email address, Jim, is cweber, that's CWEBER, at average Joe, that's JOELO, short for loan officer.com. So cweber at averagejoelo.com. All right, so get that over to me today, folks. We'll get you installed by this Friday, and then you'll have access to the training, and we'll show you where to go from there. So very powerful stuff here. Your website's going to look awesome, and I look forward to getting you guys all set up and rocking and rolling. And again, a lot has changed with Google, so you're also going to have access to some videos, and we even have a live webinar that we host that shows you what to do about all the changes with Google, because Google has become very, very important, obviously, for the past number of years, but they've changed their algorithm. So there's a lot of new things to consider, and we're going to show you what those new things to consider are so you can leap ahead of your competition, because here's the bottom line. There's still more than half of loan officers don't even have a website. More than half. Think about that, 2013. And when we know that officially people that have websites grow, in other words, make more money 41% faster than those without. Why would anybody in 2013 be without a website? It's part of your credibility and your trust that you earn from your borrowers. You know, they want to be able to research and, you know, get feedback. So do you want to grow 41% faster or slower? That's really the only question. Okay, we're going to show you how to be the person growing 41% faster. All right, so freemortgagewebsite.com. Get it over to me today. We'll get you installed by Friday, and then we'll get you into the training. All right, so thanks again, guys. Awesome questions today. Really, really awesome questions. Shows you guys are using your thinking caps, and we look forward to getting you squared away. So if I missed your question, shoot me an email, cweber@averagejoelo.com, and I look forward to seeing you again on Friday, all right? We'll have you installed, ready to rock and roll. Make it a great one, guys. Thanks again. Bye now.